FX's masterpiece Shogun having just wrapped up its first season, it leaves me with a void that needs filling. More samurai action. Swords, bloods, and honor are the only way to replenish my thirst until season 2 comes out. So we've compiled a list of some of our favorites to tide us over in the meantime. Before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Every new sub helps us achieve our goal and keeps us motivated to create new content. With that being said, I'm your host, Jamie, and here are 10 amazing samurai films. Number 1, 13 Assassins. 13 Assassins, or Jusanin no Shikaku, debuted at the Venice Film Festival on September 9th, 2010, before its Japanese release on September 25th of the same year. The film is a remake of Aichi Kuro's 1962 13 Assassins, and both films are based on true events in the Edo period of Japan, which was from about 1600 to 1868. Notorious Japanese filmmaker Takashi Miike, known for psychological horror films like 1997's Cure, as well as Audition and Pulse, helmed the brutal remake. 13 Assassins follows Shizaemon Shimada, an arrayed team of samurai warriors set on stopping Lord Matsudaira. Lord Matsudaira is a vile and sociopathic feudal lord, hell-bent on raping, torturing, and marauding while not being held accountable for his actions. Shimada and the rest of his assassins are prepared to die to stop this lord, as it would prevent a civil war. The film was met with widespread critical acclaim, Western critics even drawing comparisons with legendary filmmaker Akira Kurosawa. It is an intense and unrelenting tale about honor and the destructive nature of unchecked leadership. There's also a 20-minute fight sequence going into the final act, and you can check out 13 Assassins on Prime, Google Play, and Fandango. Number 2, Run. The 1985 film Run is a first of many films from legendary filmmaker Akira Kurosawa to land on this list. It's also one of his final 3 films and the last of his epics. Although this is not Kurosawa's first color film, Run is his most widely regarded colored film. Like most of Kurosawa's work, it's quite stunning, and he makes excellent use of color palette as he does his black and white films. Run is an adaptation of William Shakespeare's play King Lear, which debuted in the early 1600s. The film takes place in feudal Japan and revolves around a warlord, or king, Hidetora Ichimonji, who will pass his entire empire down to his 3 sons. What Hidetora doesn't anticipate is the corruption it would reveal amongst them. Ran has plenty of incredibly choreographed and bloody battle sequences. It's almost poetic. It's portraying legacy, family honor, and sibling rivalry in a violent, although not inaccurate way. But despite the legacy of some of the greatest films ever made, Ran marked the first time Kurosawa was recognized by the Academy as Best Director, although he still didn't win the award. Regardless, Ran is available to stream on Prime. Number 3, The Sword of Doom. The Sword of Doom is a jidaigeki, or Japanese period piece, released in Japan and the US in 1966. The film in Japan is known as Daibutsatsu Toge, which translates to Great Buddhista Pass. A Buddhista is someone who is on their spiritual awakening to Buddhahood. The Sword of Doom is based on the 1929 novel Daibutsu Toge by Kaizin Nakazato. It was adapted twice before, once in 1957 and in 1960. The film was adapted for the screen by Shinobu Hashimoto, who also wrote a couple of classic films for the legendary filmmakers Akira Kurosawa, including Rashomon and The Seven Samurai. The Sword of Doom follows a samurai, Ryunosuke Tsukure, whose honor appears to be naught as he ruthlessly murders anyone along the way. This is a stark contrast to the typical portrayal of the samurai we see portrayed in both American and Japanese media. Its film is a dark and enthralling, a haunting portrayal of the repercussions of our cruel actions. Tatsuya Nakadai, who portrays the sociopathic samurai Ryunosuke, delivers an intense performance. Never underestimate how, at this point in cinema history, the use of black and white film has been absolutely mastered, and when it's done right, is simply stunning. and you can wield the Sword of Doom on Prime. Number 4, Throne of Blood. Throne of Blood is another of influential masterclass director Akira Kurosawa's legendary samurai epics. The film made its debut in Japan in 1957 and garnered widespread praise right out of the gate and continued to do so when it reached international audiences. Throne of Blood was released in the United States in 1961 and is an adaptation of William Shakespeare's play Macbeth that was first published in 1623. Kurosawa changes the setting from 17th century Scotland to feudal Japan. Throne of Blood follows samurai warriors under the command of Lord Tsutsuki of Spiderweb's castle. They come across a spirit that prophesies that General Miki will rule the castle. The film takes creative liberties on Shakespeare work with phenomenal results. Kurosawa is a filmmaker of astounding narrative and technical finesse. It looks gorgeous, and the costumes, makeup sets, top tier. Throne of Blood is influenced by No theater, the oldest surviving form of Japanese theater. It uses subtle forms of dance and movement in performances to tell you a story, and you can experience Throne of Blood on Max, Plex, and Prime. Number 5, Lady Snowblood. Lady Snowblood was first released in Japan in December of 1973. The film is based on a manga by the same name. Lady Snowblood, or Shurayuki Hime, which translates to Lady Snow White. The manga was published in Shueisha's weekly Playboy magazine. Yes, you heard that right. It's a Japanese Playboy magazine. The manga ran from February of 1972 to March of 1973. The film follows Yuki, who was born in a prison after her mother was raped. She is referred to as the Asura demon by her dying mother. Yuki, which means snow, is on a lifelong quest for revenge on those who violated her mother. The film is told in designated chapters out of chronological order. For those who are familiar with Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill series, that is practically a remake of Lady Snowblood. I mean that in the best way. Kill Bill is clearly a spiritual successor to Lady Snowblood, and Tarantino has made it clear he borrowed a lot from it. Although director Toshiya Fujita is out of his wheelhouse with the film, Lady Snowblood is a well-executed, rousing, and vividly stylish revenge tale. Miko Kaji, who portrayed Yuki, aka Lady Snowblood, delivers an intense, charismatic performance, and you can see this film in action on Max, Prime, and Google Play. Number 6, Seven Samurai. The 1954 Japanese Seven Samurai is one of the greatest films ever made. It also was helmed by legendary director Akira Kurosawa, who is responsible for not just some of the greatest films from Japan, but the world. Kurosawa's legacy is so great, it even broke through the Eurocentricity of the film studies field itself. The Seven Samurai is so influential it credited, or at least popularized, a story structure. The film revolves around a village of farmers in Japan of 1586, whose crops are set to be raided. Jisaku, the village elder, suggests they hire samurai to protect the village, so several villagers go on a quest to find protectors for their village. John Sturges remade The Seven Samurai for American audiences in 1960. That became a classic Western, The Magnificent Seven. The Seven Samurai's core story is used in media and pop culture even till this day. The idea of a town or people on a quest for warriors to protect or fight against is at the core of films like A Bug's Life or even iconic video games like Mass Effect 2. In 2018, The Seven Samurai was ranked by the BBC as the greatest foreign language film of all time and currently rests at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. And you can stream it on Max, Prime, Google Play, and Fandango. Number 7. Fight Zoichi Fight. Fight Zoichi Fight is the 8th installment of the 26-part Zoichi film series. In Japan, episode 8 is known as the Zoichi Keisho Tabi, which was released in October of 1964. The film is directed by Kenji Misumi, known for Demon Sword films as well as The Lone Wolf and Cub. Fight Zoichi Fight is what is referred to as Chambara or Japanese sword fighting films. Chambara films are not dissimilar to the swashbuckler. Fight Zoitichi Fight follows Zoitichi, a blind swordsman rescuing a baby after his mother is murdered by bandits. He is on a quest to return the baby to Miyagi village of Ina County, where his father, Yunozoki, lives. Zoitichi is portrayed by Shintaro Katsu, who played the shamisen, a three-string traditional Japanese instrument, before embarking on an acting career. Katsu was extremely prolific in the 60s and early 70s, starring in 3 film series. The Akumi series, which had 17 Yakuza films from 1961 till 1974. The Hoodlum Soldiers, which had 9 films from 1965 to 1972. And of course, the 26 films Zoitichi series, 25 of which were from 1962 to 1973, with the last released in 1989. Fight Zoitichi Fight is ultimately a touching tale with a strong performance from Katsu and some well-crafted fight scenes. And you can witness this film on Prime. Number 8, 47 Ronin. Chushingura Hana no Maki, Yuki no Maki, was released in Japan in 1962, which translates to Kushingura, Story of Flower, Story of Snow. The film was released in the US as 47 Samurai or 47 Ronin. 47 Ronin is also a jidaigeki, or period piece epic that runs around 3 hours and 28 minutes. The film is based on Kanadehon Chushingura, which translates to the Treasury of Loyal Retainers. Kanadehon Chushingura is a Japanese puppet play composed in 1748. The play was based on a true story. 47 Ronin was directed by Hiroshima Inagaki, one of the most prolific and acclaimed directors to come from the cinema of Japan. The film follows a clan of 47 samurai of young Lord Asanos. Unwilling to bribe the Grand Master of Ceremonies, Kira, a gritty, dishonorable old man, Asano strikes Kira on an angry impulse. As punishment, Asano is forced to commit the ritualistic suicide of Harakiri Karire. Rogue samurai are known as Ronin, and without a lord of their clan, Asano samurai are considered rogue. These 47 Ronin are now disgraced, unable to thrive. They seek vengeance for their lord in order to restore their honor. The film is commendable in its use of Technicolor and sweeping in its scope. It has even been referred to as the Gone with the Wind of Japan. For those of you looking for action, you may be disappointed as 47 Ronin contains much more in terms of biting drama, but it's all about the build to the last chaotic 20 minutes, and you can stream it on Netflix, Google Play, Apple TV, Fandango, and Prime. Number 9, Lone Wolf and Cub, Baby Cart at the River Styx. Lone Wolf and Cub was a manga series originally published in the Japanese manga magazine Weekly Manga Action from 1970 to 1976. The manga was written by Kazuo Koike and illustrated by Gozeki Kojima. In Japan, Lone Wolf and Cub is called Kuzure Okima, which translates to wolf taking along his child. Lone Wolf and Cub, Baby Cart at the River Styx is the second film in the 6-film series, the first being Lone Wolf and Cub, Sword of Vengeance. All the films were released from 1972 to 1973 in Japan. Kenji Masumi would direct the first 3 and the 5th in the series. The film follows Ogami Ito, a disgraced rogue assassin hired to kill a clan traitor while looking out for his 3-year-old son Daigo-ru. Ogami is being spied on by Akira Yagyu, a clan of female assassins. The influence of the series is far-reaching. The story structure has appeared in everything from post-apocalyptic films, A Boy and His Dog, to hit series The Mandalorian. That makes sense as Star Wars has deep roots in samurai films. Anyway, the story structure sees a rogue, often a warrior or assassin, also tasked with taking care of an infant or creature of the sorts. The idea is it adds levity, but also a narrative tension and pathos. The warrior character can handle themselves, but the audience worries about the child, and the child reveals a softer side to the warrior. Lone Wolf and Cub, Baby Cart at the River Styx executes this structure tautly with style. It's equal parts brutal and sentimental, and you can stream the film on Max, Prime, Google Play. Number 10, Harakiri. According to the Oxford Dictionary, harakiri is a ritual suicide by disembowelment with a sword, formerly practiced in Japan by samurai as an honorable alternative to disgrace or execution. The film is what the Japanese called jidaijiki, or period film, that takes place from 1619 till 1630. Harakiri was released in Japan in 1962 and directed by Masaki Kobayashi. Kobayashi is widely regarded as one of the best Japanese directors of all time, so remember that name. At this point, he was hot off his magnum opus, the epic war picture, The Human Condition Trilogy, which, though it was divided into 3 parts from 1959 to 61, it's actually one 9-hour film. Needless to say, it is a remarkable achievement. Of course, Harakiri is too, as it was also met with widespread critical acclaim and remains part of cinematic discourse to this day. The film is based on a collection of stories by Ibun Ronin Ki by Yasuhiko Takiguchi. Harakiri revolves around Ronin Hanshiro Tsugumo, who arrives at the compound of the Ichi clan, where he requests of the Lord Saito to commit seppuku, another form of ritualistic suicide. Saito scoffs and advances Hanshiro why he shouldn't with a tale of someone who did. Of course, Hanshiro pleads to Saito on why he should. Harakiri is a heart-wrenching tale of grief, love, and honor. It's another deeply moving, engaging, and visually stunning film from Masaki Kobayashi, so don't miss it on Prime and Fandango.